Applicant tracking is the process of creating, posting, and managing posted jobs within the software system. Once applicants apply for positions, they can be managed and communicated with from the application process to the hiring process. Setting up applicant tracking is a simple yet effective way to make sure that applicants go through a friendly, easy flow process before potentially being hired. With your company's specifications, we can assist you with setting up applicant tracking for your company. Once applicant tracking has been added as a service for your company, click on the Company tab. Under the Human Resources Setup box, there will be a hyperlinked Applicant Tracking section. And under the Other Setup Items box, there will be a hyperlinked Applicant Tracking Setup selection. By clicking on Applicant Tracking Setup, this will take you to areas where you will be setting up specifications for your company's applicant tracking and posting of positions. Once these specifications have been set up, clicking on Applicant Tracking will allow you to post positions and access the Applicant Tracking dashboard. When setting up applicant tracking, it's helpful to have the following information ready: a description of your company, logo files for your company, social media links for your company, job descriptions, job requirements, and specific job questions. Setting up your demographics will provide information about your company, much of which will be included in position postings. This is where you can set up a biography of your company, include a company logo, and link future position postings to social media sites your company is affiliated with. To set up your demographics, click on the Company tab, and then click on the hyperlinked Demographics selection under the Company Setup box. The first sub-tab will most likely be Demographics, which has 3 different sections. To open or close any of the sections, click on the arrows to the left of the section name. The Demographics section includes your company's general information. Most of your company's general demographic information has already been populated. If you find any of this information needs to be changed, please contact your service bureau. Within the About section, this is where you can list a brief description of your company in the first box, only 1 or 2 lines. This brief bio section will be listed on your company's career listing page. This section does not appear on the position posting. You can also list a full description and bio of your company in the second box. This full bio section will appear at the top of all position postings and on your company's career listing page. Once completed, click on Save. Within the Industry section, this is where you'll choose your primary industry that classifies your company for the North American Industry Classification System, or NAICS. Type in the NAICS code or description. Choose the best option, select the box next to Primary Industry, if applicable, and then click on Save. The second sub-tab will most likely be Media, where you can upload a company photo, video, or logo, which will appear at the top of each position posting or when an applicant is on your company's career listing page. Click on Add, then select the media type, application logo, shown on the position posting page. Logo, photo, then insert a title and a description. If necessary, include the image URL. Upload the file by clicking on Choose File. Once completed, click on Save. The third sub-tab is Social Media, where this allows you to set up all the URLs for different social media sites, including LinkedIn, X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, etc. Each position posting will have a corresponding icon that will reflect in the posting, pertaining to whatever social media sites your company sets up in this section. Select the applicable social media site in the drop-down box. In the URL box, enter the full site address. Then click on Save. The affiliated companies and change history subtabs do not pertain to anything within applicant tracking, so they are not applicable as of right now. Within another section of setting up applicant tracking for your company, you'll need to designate who will be not only an interviewer for applicants applying for jobs, but who will be receiving applicants' information and communicating with them via email. To set this up, click on the Company tab, and then click on the hyperlinked Company Contact selection under the Master Company Setup box. On this page, highlight the contacts you'll be designating as interviewers and points of contact for applicants. Within the Attributes section on the line that reflects Interviewer, click on the check mark to the left of the interviewer. This will designate this contact as an interviewer. You will then put a 1 in the custom field box next to Interviewer. Once completed, click on the check mark again to the left of Interviewer, as this saves the changes you've made. To remove this contact from being an interviewer point of contact, click on the X to the left of the check mark. Make sure this contact is marked as active within the contact info section, or they will not be an interviewer point of contact. If interviewer is not reflected within the attributes section, please contact your service bureau. Within another section of setting up applicant tracking for your company, you will need to add all positions that applicants can apply for. Positions are super important to the applicant tracking process because applicant tracking is based on positions within your company and whether they have been made available for applicant tracking. To set this up, click on the Company tab, and then click on the hyperlinked Departments and Labor selection under the Company Setup box. Within this section, click on the Positions subtab. Within this subtab, there are 3 sections to fill out. To begin, click on Add. In the Edit Position section, insert the position's code next to position. Optionally, you can insert the position's name next to title. Positions and titles can be the same, but sometimes they are different, or positions are given codes and then the title would reflect the position's name. Select the budgeted box if the position is included in your company's budget, and list the number of budgeted positions next to the budgeted count. If this position is actively open, select the box next to active. If the position is to be available for applicant tracking, select this box. If either of these boxes are not selected, the position will not be considered for applicant tracking. Additional position info is available for your usage, which includes the following: if the position needs to have an approved date, an effective date, and/or a close date. List these accordingly. On this same section, list and/or select any of the options on the right side of the screen which pertain to this particular position. In the description box, list a brief description of the position. A more detailed description will be entered in the next step. In the Description Requirements section, you will list this position's description in the Job Description box. In the Job Requirements box, you will list all the specific requirements for this position. Applicant tracking pulls its information about positions from this section, so you'll want to list as much information as possible to give clear explanations to applicants once the position has been posted. All of this information is reflected when the position is posted and when an applicant applies for the position. In the Departments section, which is optional, you can select any of the cost centers that this position will pertain to. The cost centers do not need to be selected at this time, especially if you are posting a generic position which could pertain to more than one cost center for your company. Once everything has been selected and chosen for this position, click on Save. Configuring applicant tracking consists of different steps, which include setting up the tasks an applicant will go through when applying for a position, setting up general company questions and specific position questions, setting up templates for positions, and setting up notifications to send to applicants throughout the application process. To set these things up, click on the Company tab, and then click on the hyperlinked Applicant Tracking Setup selection under the Other Setup Items box. The first sub-tab, Company Applicant Tracking Setup, includes items which are typically accessed once during setup. It is where you establish what steps applicants might go through during the application process and interview process. You also set up the reasons an applicant would be rejected. Within the first sub-tab, there are 3 different sections. To open or close any of these sections, click on the arrows to the left of the section name. To begin, you will define how long you are requesting the system to hold position and candidate information. 0 is indefinite, or you can put another number of years. This number can be changed at any time. Once completed, click on Save Settings. Under the Application Events section, this is where you will define all of the necessary steps an applicant may or will go through during the application process. This is the full listing of all the different steps you will have in your application process, remembering that applicants can go through different processes depending on the positions they're applying for. The 2 codes of started and submitted should be automatically added to your company once the applicant tracking service was added. If they don't automatically exist, add them manually. Within the Application Events section, click on Add to enter an event. Enter an event code, and then enter a description, which describes what the specific event is. The event base code is used to display the applicant code by type in the applicant tracking dashboard, and they include interview, marked candidate, offer, other, prep onboarding, rejected, review, started, and submitted. You can use event-based codes multiple times. For example, interview for phone interview, in-person interview, Zoom interview. The sequence is automatically populated from the last event code that was made, but it is currently not used. You You can assign application events to position postings individually, or they can be marked required so that they are used on all position postings. If they are not marked required, when you go to post a specific position, you can select specific application events at this time. Once completed, click on Save. Under the Application Rejection Reasons section, this is where you add all of the rejection reasons that are possible for not hiring an applicant. Reasons can be added at any time, in case not all reasons are thought of during setup. Within the Application Rejection Reasons section, click on Add to enter an event. Enter a rejection code and then enter a description, which describes what the specific rejection reason is. The rejection base code is used to display the applicant code by type in the Applicant Tracking dashboard, and they include failed test, falsified, filled, ineligible, no rehire, requirement, and withdrew. You can use rejection base codes multiple times. For example, failed test for failed drug test, failed personality test, etc. Once completed, click on Save. In order to edit either an application event or an application rejection reason, select the appropriate event code or rejection code. Update one or more of the following fields, then click the Save button. In order to delete either an application event or an application rejection reason, select the appropriate event code or rejection code. Then click the Delete button within either the Application Events section or the Application Rejection Reasons section. The Undo button can be used to undo an unsaved change when you are adding or editing either an application event or an application rejection reason. When an applicant goes into the system and they create a profile in order to apply for a job, they can be asked a series of questions, where these questions can be broken up into different sections, also called question groups, which is the second subtab on the Applicant Tracking Setup page. When setting up question groups, it's important that you change the description for each group, because the description displays on the page, as it is, like instructions for the applicant on what to do with each section of questions, how to answer the questions, tips and hints, whatever you want to say about the questions in that group. To begin, click on Add. List the name of the question group in the title box. The sequence is automatically populated from the prior question group that was made. The first question group must have a sequence of -1. As a default, the box next to active has already been selected, which means that this question group will be active on a position posting. If you do not want it to be active, unselect this box. In the description box, provide instructions for the applicant for how they will answer this particular group of questions. There is a default question group which is already set up in the system. It has to be there, since it is for all questions which are asked of an applicant, in case no other question groups are made. Once completed, click on Save. In order to edit a question group, select the appropriate question group, update one or more of the following fields, then click on the Save button. In order to delete a question group, select the appropriate question group, then click the Delete button. The Undo button can be used to undo an unsaved change when you are adding or editing a question group. The third subtab, Company Questions, is where you can add what questions you would like to ask your applicants. You can add questions which apply to all applicants, or you can tie questions to specific groups of applicants and/or to specific positions. You can add open response text questions, date-driven questions, or questions where one selects one or more options from a list. You can add questions which are conditional on the response of another question, and you can add required or not required questions. The Company Questions page is divided into two sections. The top section contains the list of questions set up on the company and gives you two options to filter the list. The bottom section is used to add new questions, or view and edit the details of questions selected in the top section. At the top of the page, there's a Show All Questions box to select if you want to see all of the active and inactive company questions. If you would like to filter the questions by position, click on the drop-down box next to Position Filter and choose the appropriate position. If you would like to filter the questions by one of the question groups that were made earlier, click on the drop-down box next to the group filter and choose the appropriate group. To begin, click on Add at the bottom of the page. If this question is specific to a certain position, select the drop-down box next to Position and choose the appropriate position. Leaving the default selection of Available to All Positions will make this question apply to all applicants. The sequence, which is automatically populated from the prior question that was made, defines the order by numeric value that this question is going to appear in. If you do not want this question to appear in the default question group for the applicant, select the appropriate group. You can select whether the question is required to be asked in the questions section of the application process. If you do not mark required, then the applicant can simply bypass this question within the application process. If required is marked during this step, it will be permanently included in any pertaining job postings. If a question should not be asked all the time for every position, do not mark required. When selecting the type, there are different options to choose from, depending on what question is being asked and how you would like the applicant to respond. If they need to enter or choose a date as an answer, select the date field type. If they need to have the option to select multiple answers, choose the multi-select drop-down type. If they need to select only one choice given from a drop-down list, choose the drop-down list type. If they need to enter a short open response answer, choose the single line text type. If they need to enter a lengthy open response answer, choose the multi-line text type. For example, describe an experience where you made a mistake at work and how did you rectify it with your supervisor. You can make some questions conditional upon another question, based on the applicant's answer. As you set up the conditional question, you set it up to be conditional based upon the answer to another question that has already been set up. Based on the answer to that first question, then this would trigger whether or not the conditional question would be asked. Conditional questions can only be used with the following types of original questions: drop-down list or single line text. Everything you've already done in all the prior steps all leads up to posting a position. Within the fourth subtab, Position Posting Templates, you get to set up a template for a position you're going to post. You're first choosing the position you'd like to post, and then you're filling in the template of everything the applicant is going to see about the position and is required to do to apply for the position. Templates can be added multiple times for the same position because the template and process that you want specific applicants to go through when applying for a specific position may change over time. Please note that you cannot edit or delete an existing template. Next, to choose a position, click on the drop-down box and select the position that you will be posting. What the previous revision option allows you to do is select the template set by date, so you do not have to recreate the entire position template again in the future. Please note that if you do choose a previous revision template date, most of the selected template choices will not be able to be altered, as they were set when the original template was made. When you set up a position for the first time, you do not have the option to choose a previous revision, because you have never established a position posting template before. Once you've chosen to use either a prior template selected by date, or create a new template where the previous revision box will reflect no active versions found, click on Add. Within this fourth subtab, there are 3 different sections. To open or close any of the sections, click on the arrows to the left of the section name. Under the Position Settings section, select the date of this template by selecting the drop-down box next to version date. If you do not want others to have the options to alter what's in the positions template when you actually post the position, leave the box unselected next to editable when posting. Please note that if you leave the box unselected next to editable when posting, once templates have been made, the selected template choices cannot be changed when you are on the Post New Job page. You could set position keywords and skills by listing them in the Keyword List and Skills List boxes. The sections which are shown to an applicant can have the options to be displayed to the applicant and/or required for the applicant to complete. These sections include EEO, AA, OFCCP compliance questions, employment history, education history, questions, documents, for example, uploading a resume, and references. Select any of the boxes next to any of the sections which apply to this position below either the display and/or required columns. Please note that in order for any applicant to be able to attach a document, for example, a resume or cover letter, at the least, the box next to documents below the display column in the sections area needs to be selected. If this is not the case, the applicant will not be able to attach any documents when they apply for this specific position. If the required boxes are grayed out and you need to be able to select them, select the display box for that particular row. This will make the grayed out required box able to be selected. Under the Applicant Events section, this lists all of the events that an applicant can go through. Not all of these processes or events will apply to this particular position. For example, a project manager may need to go through 2 interviews, whereas a receptionist may only need to do 1 phone interview. So select or unselect any boxes below Include. And if it is an event that will be required, select the box below Required. Under the Template Questions section, this lists all of the questions that an applicant can answer pertaining to this position. Not all of these questions will apply to this particular position, so select or unselect any boxes below Include in the row for this particular question. And if it is a question that will be required, select the box below Required in the row for this particular question. If all the questions within one specific group need to be asked, for example, the posting will be for a front desk position, so you would not need the applicant to answer programming position questions, select the box below Include, which is in the row for the specific group. Selecting or unselecting groups of questions will make all the questions within this group either included, excluded, required, or not required, rather than having to select each question individually. Once completed, click on Save. Please note that once templates have been made, the selected template choices cannot be changed. Once you're on the Post New Job page though, you will be able to make changes to most of these choices, which are specific to the position you are posting, as long as the Editable When Posting box is selected. The Undo button can be used to undo an unsaved change when you are adding or editing a position posting template. The fifth sub-tab, Notification Templates, has templates for all of the different types of notifications you might send out to an applicant during the applicant tracking process, and it allows for quickly generating emails for them. When you are on an applicant in the applicant tracking dashboard, you have the opportunity to send them messages regarding their steps during the application process. To begin, click on Add. You will then add a name, which will be a very good description of what this notification will be used for. Then click on the drop-down box next to Notification Type, where you will select from the following options, which is considered the main type of notification you are setting up: interview request, job offer, message, onboarding, and rejection. In the subject box, you will enter the outgoing subject of the email that will be sent. In the Email From box, enter the email address for whomever or whatever department will be sending this email. Note, this is a required field. Please note that the email notifications will reflect the address as a no-reply email from your service bureau. At the bottom of the email notifications, they will contain a Sent on Behalf of statement, which contains the email address that was selected and set up for these notifications. Within the body, you will enter what the message will say to the applicant. Once completed, click on Save. Automatically insert the applicant's name, the job title, your company's name, your company's contact information, salary, rate, the sender's name, the interviewer's name, the interview date, the interview times, and the interview location with the following variables. These can be used within the subject box and also within the body of the message. In order to edit a notification template, select the appropriate notification template, update the fields as needed, then click the Save button. In order to delete a notification template, select the appropriate notification template, then click the Delete button. The Undo button can be used to undo an unsaved change when you are adding or editing a notification template. To post a new position, click on the Company tab, and then click on the hyperlinked Applicant Tracking selection under the Human Resources Setup box. Within this Applicant Tracking screen, click on the Post New Job subtab. Within the Applicant Tracking screen, you can also click on the Applicant Tracking Dashboard subtab, and then select Add Job on the left side of the screen. To begin, click on Add, then click the position that you would like to post in the drop-down box. You will then select the position template in the next drop-down box. They will always be listed by version date that was given when setting up the position. Note, you must always have a template in order to post a position, as not selecting a template does not provide any information to change or update. If the position is editable, you may make any necessary changes to the template before posting it. If not already populated, add the position's title and a brief description, which will appear at the top of the position's post. Select the dates you want this position to be active for applicants to apply for it by selecting Posting End Date. If not already populated, list any applicable words within the Keyword List and Skills List sections. Select any of the sections which are to be displayed and/or required to answer or fill out by an applicant. If any questions need to be included and/or required, select or unselect any which pertain to this specific position. If you want to preview the application before it's saved, click on the Preview Application button. Once everything has been completed, click on Save. The Undo button can be used to undo an unsaved change when you are adding a job posting. Once you click Save, you'll be given a confirmation on the top of the page, which will include the URL for the position you posted. This URL will be tied into any job boards which you previously set up for your company. If they apply for the position through the link on a separate job board, they will be automatically sent to your company's Applicant Tracking module to complete the application process. In order to access this link in the future, you will click on Jobs within the Applicant Tracking dashboard. To access the Applicant Tracking dashboard, click on the Company tab, and then click on the hyperlinked Applicant Tracking selection under the Human Resources Setup box. Within this Applicant Tracking screen, click on the Applicant Tracking Dashboard subtab. You can also access the Applicant Tracking dashboard by clicking on the dashboards on the home page, then clicking on the Applicant Tracking Dashboard subtab. When the dashboard opens, it will be on the Jobs section, reflected on the left side of the screen. You will be shown all of the positions which have been posted for your company. The position name is highlighted in gray, and clicking on the name will open up a section with more information about the position. In order to filter positions and view any closed positions, as open positions are the default positions that reflect on the dashboard, click on the drop-down button located in the top right section of the screen and select Closed. Below Share, there's a link that can be clicked on in order to go to your company's career postings page. On this page, all of your company's active positions will be displayed. When clicking on any highlighted position name, the information that opens up is broken down into different sections. The Position Details section includes the name of the position, the date it was posted, how many days are remaining before the position will close, a button to close the position, a button to extend the position, a link to the posted position, and a button to copy the position's link. In order to permanently close a position, for example, you hire an applicant before the position is closed, you will need to click on the Close Post button, located below how many days are remaining for the position. Once a position is closed, if an applicant tries to click on the link from any job boards it was previously listed on, it will reflect that the position is no longer accepting applicants. All positions which have had the Close Post button clicked on will now be listed when you filter the positions to view only closed positions. While position postings require an end date, positions will remain on the open position page until you click on the Close Post button. In order to extend the dates that a position is available for applicants to apply to, click on the Extend Post button. In the window that pops up, enter the new end date and click on Submit. Any positions that reflect starting rather than posted next to the name of the position and have 0 days remaining is a position that has already been closed to the applicants, but its posting date can be extended. In order to remove it from the open positions list, click on the position's Close Post button. If a position has been closed, it can be reopened with all of the same template information. In order to reopen a position, click on the drop-down box next to Open in the upper right section of the screen and select Closed. All of the closed positions will be listed. Click on the name of the position you want to reopen. Once this has been done and the position's information is listed, click on the Copy Post button. The window that pops up is where you can change either the start date and/or the end date of the position. Once this has been done, click on Submit. A notification will appear at the top of the screen, stating that the position has been copied. The position will stay in the closed list of positions, but a new copied position with the same template information and revised dates will now show up on the open list of positions. The Scheduled Interviews section includes the position's code and name, the location of the interview, and the status of the interview. Clicking on any of the position code names, locations, and/or statuses, this will automatically filter the applicants within this section. Unselecting any of the blue highlighted position codes, names, locations, and/or statuses, or clicking on the X Clear button in the top right corner of each box will unselect these particular position codes and names, locations, and/or statuses. Below this information reflects the applicant's name and all of the information about the interview. Clicking on the applicant's name will bring up interview actions for this particular applicant. By selecting the drop-down box next to Status, you can change the applicant's interview status. The interview statuses that can be chosen from all stem from your company's applicant events, which were set up in the company's Applicant Tracking setup instructions. When selecting a status, the default Reschedule Interview box will pop up, where options can be selected to send an updated email to the applicant or a note can be added about the applicant. If an applicant needs to have another email sent to them or the interview rescheduled, selecting any of the green boxes, Send Message or Reschedule Interview, will allow you to send the appropriate email to the applicant. The Job Offers section includes the position's code name within the box on the left and the status of the offer within the box on the right. Below this information reflects the applicant's name, the date they were sent the offer, the position's code name, and the status of the offer. The Applications section includes the position's code name within the box on the left, and within the box on the right, this includes the different statuses the position has, and next to the status includes the number of applicants who are within each status. Clicking on any of the position code, names, and/or statuses within each of the boxes, this will automatically filter the applicants. Unselecting any of the blue highlighted position code, names, and/or statuses, or clicking on the X Clear button in the top right corner of each box will unselect these particular position code, names, or statuses. Clicking on any of the applicant's name will bring up the applicant actions for this particular applicant. At the top of the application section, there is a Reject Multiple button. This button allows you to reject multiple applicants at one time, instead of rejecting them individually, although you can also individually reject applicants within the same directions. When clicking on this button, a window will pop up, where you will be able to reject any applicants you no longer want to consider for this position. You will do so by selecting the box next to the applicant's name below the Reject column. Within the drop-down box below Reason, you will choose the reason the applicants will be rejected. Within the drop-down box below Application Status, you will choose the status that the applicants will be changed to within the Applicant Tracking system. Within the drop-down box below Message Template, you will choose the template that pertains to the rejected applicants. This message template will be sent to the applicants, letting them know the reason they are not chosen for the position. Once completed, click on Submit. When clicking on the Applicants section, reflected on the left side of the screen, you will be able to view information about applicants who have applied for positions within your company, to include the applicant's status for each position. The All Applicants section will give you a brief overview of all applicants. It gives you a number of how many applicants your company currently has, how many have applied today, and a graph that reflects how many applicants have applied for positions within your company during the current month and 3 months prior. Within the Applicants section, each of the applicants are listed, where they can be filtered by last name, their email address, or the name of their referral to the position. This is done by clicking on the column names of either name, email, or referral source. In order to search for an applicant, you can use the search engine located in the upper right corner of the screen, typing in either the applicant's first or last name. Clicking on the arrows to the left of the applicant's name will bring up a list of the positions this applicant has applied for, to include the job titles, the positions, as job titles and positions can sometimes have different names, the dates they applied, the position statuses, and the last changes made regarding the positions. 10 applicants are shown at a time. When there are more than 10 applicants, buttons appear in the bottom right section of the page where you can scroll through the list, 10 applicants at a time. Once this information about each applicant is reflected, clicking on any of the applicant's positions they applied for will bring up the applicant actions at the bottom of the page, where different actions can then be taken for the selected position. This is where you can review prospective new hires' profiles and applications. You can forward their application to others via email, you can move their application to a better fitting position, you can make notes within their profile, and this is where all status changes and notifications are sent to prospective new hires, including interview requests and job offers. To change the status of the applicant, click on the drop-down box next to Status and select the correct status of the applicant. Applicants do not have to go through every single step or event that was originally set up, and they can go in any order, so it's fine to select any status which applies to them. Statuses are also not tied to notifications, so you can change an applicant's status without notifying them of the change within the system. Please note that although a notification does not need to be sent to an applicant when their status changes, if the applicant logs onto their account and clicks on the My Profile page on their profile, they will be able to see any status change for any position they applied for, whether or not they were sent a notification. When selecting a status, a window will pop up, which is an automatic message template that can be sent to the applicant regarding their current status. To view the applicant's profile, click on the View Profile. Within the screen, you can print and/or add a note to the applicant's profile. To view an applicant's application for a specific position, click on View Application. Make sure the position you're wanting to reference is the position that is highlighted in blue. Within the screen, you can forward this application via email to another person. A similar screen will pop up when you click on Forward Application. Print the application, add a note to the applicant's profile, and/or add the application to a Save Application list. If there are any documents which pertain to the applicant's application, for example, a resume or cover letter, they will be listed within the Documents section of this pop-up window. You will click on any of these blue highlighted documents in order to specifically download these documents. Depending on which status you select, a certain window will pop up, which is an automatic message template that can be sent to the applicant regarding their current status. If you select a more general status, which does not pertain to an interview, a job offer, onboarding, or rejecting an applicant, you will get a Send Message pop-up window. This same action can be done by clicking on Send Message under Applicant Actions. Within this pop-up window, you may select a pre-made message template and can revise the subject and/or message to reflect whatever's necessary for the particular applicant. You can also add a note to the applicant's profile. Once completed, click on Send, and an email will be sent to the applicant. If you just want to change the applicant's status in the system, but do not want to send them an email, click on Close. Their status will be updated on the Applicant Tracking dashboard, but no email will be sent to them. If you select a status which pertains to any kind of interview, you will get a Schedule Interview pop-up window. This same action can be done by clicking on the Schedule Interview under Applicant Actions. Within this pop-up window, you can compose an email to an applicant requesting them to come to an interview. You can also add a note to the applicant's profile. Select the appropriate application status, schedule the date, time, and location, select the appropriate interviewers, select the appropriate message template, and make any necessary changes to the email subject and/or custom message. In order to make sure the email gets sent, click on the box below Send Email. Once completed, click on Schedule, and an email will be sent to the applicant. If you just want to change the applicant's status in the system, but do not want to send them an email, click on Close. Their status will be updated on the Applicant Tracking dashboard, but no email will be sent to them. If you select a status which pertains to a job offer, you will get a job offer pop-up window. This same action can be done by clicking on Offer Job under Applicant Actions. Within this pop-up window, you can compose an email to send to an applicant whom you'd like to offer a position to. You can also add a note from the applicant's profile. Select the appropriate application status, list who the email is from, list the salary and rate, attach a document or file, such as a cover letter, select the appropriate message template, and make any necessary changes to the email subject and/or message. Once completed, click on Send, and an email will be sent to the applicant. If you want to change the applicant's status in the system, but do not want to send them an email, click on Close. Their status will be updated on the Applicant Tracking dashboard, but no email will be sent to them. If you select the onboarding status, you will get a Prep Onboarding pop-up window, as long as the onboarding service is established and active for your company. Within the pop-up window, you can quickly move an applicant who accepted a job offer to your company's onboarding step and select the appropriate onboarding setup group. Once completed, click on Select. You will be automatically redirected to your company's onboarding screen for this particular applicant, where you can continue the process of making them a newly onboarded employee. If you select any of the reject statuses, you will get a reject reason pop-up window. Within this pop-up window, select the appropriate reason in the drop-down list and then click on Submit. You will then get a send message window that will pop up, where you may select a pre-made message template and can revise the subject and/or message to reflect whatever's necessary for the rejected applicant. You can also add a note to the rejected applicant's profile. Once completed, click on Send, and an email will be sent to the rejected applicant. To add notes to an applicant's profile, click on Add Note. Within this pop-up window, you will select what type of note you'd like to add to the applicant's profile by clicking on the drop-down box. The different types of notes include application comment, interview comment, job offer comment, other comment, and testing comment. Enter the note in the comment box and click on Submit when done. In order to see all of the notes that have been made about an applicant pertaining to each specific position, click on View Profile. If you find that an applicant would be better fit for another open position rather than the one they applied for, you can move this applicant's application from one position to the better fit position. You can also copy an applicant's application where their application will stay within the current position they applied for, but the system will create a new, identical application in another position that is selected. In order to do either of these options, you will click on Move, and the following window will pop up. If you will be moving the applicant's application to another position, you will select the position that's a better fit for the applicant within the new posting drop-down box. Although not required, you may select a status within this drop-down box, which will be applied to the new position this applicant will be moved to. Once completed, click on Submit. If you will be copying an applicant's application to another position, put a check mark next to the Copy Application box and click on Submit. If you like an applicant's application and want to be able to easily find it again without having to scroll through all the applicants, it can be saved. To start this process, once you open up an applicant's applicant actions, click on View Application. When the next window pops up, click on Save in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Once you've done so, you will see a confirmation pop up on the screen, letting you know this application has been saved to your list. In order to view your saved application list, you will scroll to the top of the Applicants section on the Applicant Tracking dashboard and select the button next to Show My Saved Applications. In order to return to the All Applicants list, unselect the button next to Show My Saved Applications. If you'd like to remove an applicant from your saved application list, you will follow the same directions as saving an applicant on the list. Open up an applicant's applicant actions and click on View Application. When the next window pops up, Forget will replace Save in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Click on Forget, and after you've done so, you will see a confirmation pop up on the screen, letting you know that this application has been removed from your list. By clicking on the Add Job section, reflected on the left side of the screen, you will be taken back to the Post New Job screen, where you will be able to post a new position. When clicking on a link regarding a position within your company, the applicant will be sent to a page where they are provided with information about your company, and a recap about the position they are applying for, title, description, and requirements. To apply for the position, they will click on the Apply button. To save the position, for example, apply at a later date, they will click on Save Posting. Once an applicant clicks on either Apply or Save Posting, they will be sent to a screen where they will need to register to begin creating an account. If they have never applied for a position with your company, they will enter their email address, will make a password, which they will then enter twice, and will click on Register. Upon logging into their account for the first time, applicants will need to complete their profile, which is the first task listed on the left side of the screen. This includes their personal information, address information, and contact information. Once they have completed their profile, they will click on Save and Continue. Any of this profile information can be updated and changed at any time by the applicant by them clicking on My Profile in the top right corner of the screen. Within the applicant's profile, they can optionally choose to complete the final task listed on the left side of the screen, EEOC Survey. They can fill this out at any time, and to do so, they will click on the EEOC Survey task. They can answer any of the listed selections, which include gender, ethnicity, citizenship, military veteran, and disability. Once they have completed any of the optional sections within the EEOC Survey task, they will click on Save and Complete. This may take them to My Activity. If so, they can locate the position they were applying for and click on the Continue button for this position, located on the far right side of the screen. Any of the EEOC compliance information can be updated and changed at any time by the applicant by them clicking on My Profile in the top right corner of the screen. Once an applicant has completed their profile, there may be additional tasks for them to complete. The amount of tasks listed for each position are dependent on how the position was set up during the applicant tracking setup. Another task the applicant may complete is documents, where they will be able to upload any necessary documents, such as a resume or cover letter. In order to add a document, they will click on Choose File next to the type of file they will be adding. If a document needs to be deleted after it has been added, they can highlight the entry and click on the Delete button. If the resume includes their employment and education history, they can select the box next to My Resume Includes My Employment and Education History. This will automatically allow the applicant to bypass filling out the employment history and education history tasks. Once they have completed the Documents task, they will click on Save and Continue. Some more tasks the applicant may complete are employment history and education history, which are part of their profile information. In order to add employment history or education history, they will click on the Add button within each of these sections. Within the box that pops up, everything with a red box around it is required to be listed. Once everything has been entered, they will click on Create. If an entry needs to either be edited or deleted after it has been added, they can highlight the entry and click on either the Edit button or the Delete button. Once they've completed employment history and/or education history, they will click on Save and Continue. Another task the applicant may complete is reference. In order to add a reference, they will click on the Add button. Everything with a red box around it is required to be listed. Once everything has been entered, they will click on Create. If a reference needs to be either edited or deleted after it has been added, they can highlight the entry and click on either the Edit button or the Delete button. Once they've completed references, they will click on Save and Continue. Another task the applicant will most likely complete is questions. This is where the applicant will be presented with all of the company and position-related questions. Every question with a red box around its answer area will be required to be answered. If any questions have multi-select answers, they will hold the Control key while selecting any of the necessary answers. Once they have answered all of the questions, they will click on Save and Continue. The final task the applicant needs to complete is Submit. This is where the applicant can list a referral name and any related comments. They will also verify their information is true and correct by selecting the box within the applicant's sign-off section. Once completed, they will click on Submit Application. Once Submit Application has been selected, the application will be submitted to your company's Applicant Tracking dashboard. Upon completion of all of these required tasks, they will most likely be automatically sent to their My Activity page, which is within the applicant's account, in the top right corner of the screen. On this page, applicants can see all of the positions they may have saved, all of the positions they have applied for, and any job offers and/or rejections they may have received pertaining to your company. To filter positions, click on any of the all caps, bold column names within any section and the positions will be filtered by this column name. For example, clicking on Position, this will filter the positions alphabetically by the position names. When an applicant is on the page where they can apply for a position, they can click on Save Posting, which will save the position within the applicant's My Saved Job Posting section on their My Activity page. When on this section and clicking on View next to the applicable position, they can begin the application process for this position they have saved. If they'd like to delete a saved position, they can highlight the position and click on Delete. Note, this action cannot be undone if a saved position is deleted. On this same page, within the My Previous Application section, Applicants can resume and complete the application process they had previously started for a specific position by clicking on Continue next to the applicable position. Thank you for using PayNet's Applicant Tracking service.